Polychaetes are bristleworms that are almost exclusively found in marine environments. There are more than 10,000 species of polychaetes in our world's oceans. The polychaetes are related to the Clitellata, which are a group of worms that have a clitellum, which is a thick ring on the epidermis of the worm used in sexual reproduction. The Clitellata is composed of the oligochaetes and the Hiradinia, which are simply the earthworms found in your backyards, and the leeches. These two groups are part of the Annelida phylum, which are by definition segmented worms that are bilaterally symmetrical. The polychaetes make up the most of the Annelida phylum. Taking a step back on the phylogeny, annelids are most closely related to mollusks, which are the phylum that includes clams, snails, slugs like these cute little nudibranchs, and octopuses. Synapomorphies are distinguishing characteristics of a phylum or group of organisms. The synapomorphies of annelids are number 1, metamerism. Metamerism is the property of having repeated segments that are similar in structure. Not all repeated segments are entirely alike, as some may perform special functions. But for the most part, in an annelid, each of the segments are pretty much the same. The only parts of an annelid that are not segmented are the pygidium, which is the tail, as well as the head, which is composed of the prostomium and the peristomium. In annelids, the segments are formed sequentially through teleoblastic growth from growth zones, which are located at the posterior end of the body. The second synapomorphy of annelids are setae. These are just bundles of chitinous, thin-walled cylinders that annelids use for movement and defense, which you can see on this arenicula. Lastly, a synapomorphy of polychaetes are nuchal organs, which are chemosensory pits or grooves on the head of a polychaete. Polychaetes have a super interesting way of moving around. On the exterior of each segment, you'll find parapodia, which are the feet of these worms, as well as setae. Inside of each segment, there are longitudinal muscles, a closed gut, helical fibers, and circular muscles. Additionally, each segment has a coelom, which is an incompressible fluid that works with the muscles to work as a hydrostatic skeleton. Each segment also contains a closed circulatory system, a developed nervous system, and excretory system. So there's really a lot going on in each little segment of a polychaete. Here you can see the insides of a neuridae and an arenicula. Polychaetes can be broken into two informal groups. The first group is known as the Orontia. Given its name, these polychaetes are super active and can be found wiggling around. Because of their active lifestyle, Orontia polychaetes usually have way more developed prostomiums and parapodia. They have better eyes, sensory appendages like antennae and palps. Orontia polychaetes usually act as non-selective deposit feeders, where they feed on mud or sand and don't care about the size or type of particles. Or they can also act as raptorial feeders, which are carnivores, herbivores, and scavengers. Some cool Orontia polychaetes include these dancing neuridaes, which you can often find swimming around in the pelagic or in the mud of the intertidal. This is a bioluminescent Tomopterus that spends its whole life in the water column, and this is a Vesicomicola, which also belongs to the Nereid suborder. Lastly, this is a larger scale worm that acts as an active hunter. The other polychaete group are the Sedentaria, which given their name you can tell are sedentary. The Sedentaria polychaetes live in tubes or burrows. These polychaetes don't put nearly as much effort into developing intense parapodia. Instead, they often have specialized gills since they live in tubes or mud where the oxygen is not as abundant, which you can see on the sides of this arenicula. Many polychaetes in this group also develop specialized tentacles, so they don't really need to move to feed as seen in this pterobelid, also known as a spaghetti worm. This feeding pterobelid is a perfect example of selective deposit feeders that use palps or buccal organs to sort organic materials from sediments before ingestions. The Sedentaria group also have plenty of non-selective deposit feeders like the Arenicola. There are also many filter feeders like these feather dusters in the Sedentaria group that all live in tubes and expand their radiolar crown out of their tube to form a tunnel. These filter feeders will beat their cilia to form a current, which carries food particles towards the tentacles. Polychaetes are not only super important for marine food webs, but also are incredible bioindicators of marine ecosystems. By studying how these marine worms are doing, scientists can better understand the health, functioning, and implications of changing environments.